Exopoison talks about it. If they did a Mudras though, dude, they would just ruin Ninja. The one way to ruin Ninja, remove Mudras, mess with the Mudras in any way, or mess up Trick Attack.
So we just got the newest live letter for patch 7.2.
Let's see what happened to Black Mage.
And with it came quite a lot of changes to Black Mage. We kind of knew already that Black Mage would be getting buffs, but the way it's coming around is controversial to say the least. In the recent live letter, Yoshi P was showing off the first fight of the Arcadian Cruiserweight tier, and we got to see him play Black Mage partially in the encounter.
I see.
So I'll just play the footage so you can see for yourself.
That's the fire. The voice. You got, I mean, still got the ley lines, of course. I don't understand how Black Mage works, so I wouldn't know. I mean, I see Paradox over there. I know Paradox. And then the Thunder, right? Blizzard. You got the Xenoglossy, of course. Xenoglossy's still there. I mean, you still have the same abilities.
So, what did we see in that video? There's a lot to take in. The first immediate thing that people started noticing is that there is no timer on Astral Fire anymore. So it looks like managing Enochian is no longer part of Black Mage gameplay. This...
Wow! You don't have to refresh that anymore? That was like a big part of Black Mage, by the way.
Is a huge design shift, as managing your Enochian timer by using Fire 4s,
followed
by Paradox, or Fire 1.
And like you had this one button you had to press, which will make your fire stack 1, I think. And then you keep mashing it so it doesn't drop Enochian. I was like, it's like the button during downtime you press. I remember that.
And then finishing your fire phase with more Fire 4s and Despair has been a core gameplay element for the last several years.
Astro Soul.
We can also see that he just used ley lines, and it's a 20-second buff rather than a 30-second buff. Tooltip confirmation later in the broadcast confirmed that the cast time reduction is still 15%. As we play through the opener,
so it lasts
GCDs
less.
seem extremely fast, and we see that his Fire 4 hardcast and ley lines has a cast time of about 1.47 seconds. This is extremely fast. So it looks like Fire 4 is now a faster cast. We'll get back to that as well. Going through the...
To be honest, chat, I'm not even surprised that they do changes like this. They're actively making the game easier and easier and more. By making it easier, you are making new players get more into stuff, but it also alienates the people that have been literally mastering this job for years. You know what I mean? Like, they went big dick mode to learn Black Mage, to learn the optimal way and keep Enochian up and all that, you know? They're trying to make the game easier. And by making the game easier, you end up cucking the people that have been, like, mastering it and spent all that time mastering it. So it's like, well, what was the point of all that? I learned all this, and now they just, like, ruined the fun part of the job. Like, part of the fun... So here's the thing with Ninja, right? Like, Ninja is so fun because there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening with Ninja. Now, I'm kind of worried now. Like, if they did this with Black Mage, I would imagine they made other jobs easier too. And that could potentially include Ninja. But, like, what would they change, though? Like, if they do something with Suton, man. Oh, this is actually kind of concerning. Auto Mudra? That's stupid. That'd be so bad. Oh, imagine Auto Mudra. You can no longer bunny. Oh, no. You push button. And then, boom. That's it. Right on. being a skill on your hotbar. No, nah, I don't think they'll ever do that. No. They definitely won't. Ninjutsu has to be its own button, for sure. If something gets easier, the lazy players and the new players will just download to lower skill floor accordingly. Downwards. I think they're always gonna do this now. Like, they're always gonna look to make jobs easier. I mean, look at Viper when they first introduced it, right? Like, they instantly removed Noxus Nash because they realized, oh, well, Noxus Nash, you actually had to manage Noxus Nash, and people were complaining about it, so let's go ahead and remove Noxus Nash. We'll make Viper easier. Pictomancer is not, not that complex of a caster job compared to Black Mage. That's just a fact. Black Mage is more complex. So people, they want that complexity to still stay in the game, but obviously from the devs' standpoint, they're thinking, let's make things easier for people to get into. I'm not a fan of them messing with Ninja though. I hope they don't. I hope they don't do that. I think Ninja is literally perfect. They're like, don't touch it. It's literally in the best state it's ever been in. It's so good. It's so fun. It's very active. It feels great. It feels rewarding. And it also feels very punishing when you mess up with Ninja. It feels so punishing. Like, easily one of the biggest jobs where if you get punished, it can mess up your rotation for the whole fight. It can get so bad. And obviously it would depend on downtime and stuff, but Ninja's special. Ninja's very special. Yeah, let's hope nothing happens with Ninja.
The opener, Despair, also seems to still be an instant cast as he uses it and it doesn't consume a triple cast charge. Mana
Really?
Font as well looks like it stays at a 100-second cooldown. Yoshi P uses Flare Star, and we can see that the cast time is actually the same as the Leyline's Hasted Fire 4. So we can infer that Fire 4 and Flare Star have the same cast time under Leylines, and therefore the same cast time overall. Later in the broadcast, Yoshi P actually hovers over the Flare Star tooltip, and we can see that it has been buffed from 400 potency to 500 potency.
Oh, wow.
And its base cast time is 1.77 seconds at his GCD, meaning it has a base of 2.0 seconds.
It's crazy that people are able to see all these little things
The huge buff
in the live letter.
Non-standard gameplay that revolved around shorter lines and not using Flare Star is greatly nerfed from this Flare Star buff. Additionally, based on a Blizzard 4 tooltip shown later in the broadcast, and the fact that Blizzard 4 and Fire 4 have historically always shared the same raw potency, it can be inferred that Fire 4 was also nerfed to 300 potency to compensate for the reduced cast time. Of note, 2 seconds base cast time is not enough to weave after the cast. It's similar to White Mage's Medica. You will still clip a little bit if you try and weave after that. But on reducing the spell cast duration, I think this is a move towards homogenization to be like Pictomancer. I think part of the allure to
they're doing this type of design on jobs literally since the release of Dawn Trail, pretty much. Like, they're trying to make things easier.
Mage, at least for me, is that you have long cast times and can act like a turret. So I'm a little disappointed that they're going in this direction.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, they've always been going in this direction, and they have been for a while. And that's just the truth of it. They're not gonna listen. They removed Samurai Kaiten. People wanted it back. They're not gonna bring it back. They don't really listen, like, to the people that actually main the jobs. They don't do that. But yeah, that's where we're at. Now, if there's like something really bad design-wise, they're gonna fix it 100%. But obviously they have their own image, right? Like, for example, when Ninja Endwalker released with 6 gap closers, instantly they were like, yeah, this is bad. They changed it. And now Ninja's in a very good state. We got really lucky with Ninja. We got very lucky. I'm happy.
Speaking of time, we can actually look at Yoshi P's buff bar and see another interesting thing. There is no longer a timer on the Thunderhead and Firestarter buffs, meaning they will stay on you perpetually.
Wow.
I actually really like this for Thunderhead,
Okay.
but I still think it's buff bloat, and they can just get rid of it and let you dot whenever you want. I'm not really sure why they are maintaining this buff. We can also see Yoshi P transposed to Umbral Ice and cast Blizzard 4, which of course is also a faster cast. The 2500 MP gain from casting Blizzard 4 in Umbral Ice 1 stays, but you can also see that he uses Paradox in Umbral Ice 1 and it doesn't give a stack of Umbral Ice. He stays in Umbral Ice 1. It stands to reason that it will behave a similar way in Astral Fire, but we don't know for sure. So yeah, a lot of changes to go through. Firstly, no Astral Fire or Umbral Ice timers. Managing the Umbral Ice and Astral Fire timer is a core part of Black Mage, but I can see how it can be frustrating for new players. By making the cast faster though, I feel like it kind of removes the need for the timer quite a bit, so maybe that's why they got rid of it.
They're trying to make more players get into Black Mage, and it's obviously well known as being one of the most difficult jobs in Final Fantasy XIV, so they want more people to play it, and they're also 100% nerfing Picto, as was said earlier. So by doing that, they're also bringing in, new caster players potentially, and they're going to be like, oh, let's just play Black Mage. And like a lot of Picto players are probably going to end up playing Black Mage too. So I think that's their plan
of it. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm interested in what you guys think the reason why they removed the Enochian timer is, so let me know in the comments. Also, with...
Yeah, 100%. Some jobs should definitely remain harder for the people that dedicate to it, and some jobs should be easier for the people that want an easier time. Yeah. I think that's what makes jobs unique too and distinctive from each other. I feel like that's really important in a game like Final Fantasy XIV when there's a lot of things that can be considered similar. Like nothing is like Ninja. Nothing is like Ninja. Ninja is so unique. We got cool ass mudras. We have awesome ninjutsus. We have range tools that are epic. Like Ninja is so unique and special. I'm blessed. We're lucky. Black Mage was... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like Black Mage was unique. Now, I think buffing it is fine. I think buffing it is a good idea. As long as you don't remove what makes it cool, And then as next, let's hope not. We'll see the patch notes next week, but let's just hope. Honestly, I don't think they'll touch Ninja. I actually don't think. You know why? Because this is like specifically for casters. They're focusing more on casters because of Pictomancer, and so they're thinking like, okay, Pictomancer is this strong. There's Black Mage. Let's tune the other casters. Since Pictomancer exists, we have to tune the casters. That's why they're focusing probably way more on casters. There's probably going to be a lot of summoner changes too. Some RDM changes. Maybe they're going to change those as well. I think they're going to focus more on that. Like Viper is fine in its current state that I don't think the other melees need tuning at all. If anything, if they add something for Ninja, it would be a buff for like a range tool. Imagine they take my advice when I made the video about Ninja and Kazuma Toy Gauge and making Kazuma Toy Gauge more interesting. Imagine they watch that video and like, Alninio's right. He's the ninja prodigy. Let's go ahead and make Kazuma Toy more interesting. Imagine they do that shit. But yeah, I think that's the one thing they could add with Ninja, but I don't think they need to remove anything that makes it unique. Probably just add more stuff with Kazuma Toy. Because Kazuma Toy is really basic. All it does is just consume... It consumes Kazuma Toy stack when you use Aelion's Edge. That's it. That's all it does. It's not unique. It's cool to have, but it's compared to other job gauges, it's really not that crazy. I think adding more things to it can make it more interesting. Well, we'll see about that. Pictomancer doesn't get a nerf. It is getting nerfed. Motives must be within 10 seconds of being drawn. Yeah, it's definitely getting nerfed. It was mentioned earlier in the live letter. It's just about what is gonna get nerfed. But yeah, I think buffing the other casters is a good choice still, though. I think it's still a good choice. But removing like the ability to upkeep Enochian and stuff, that's weird. So how does enochian actually work exactly? Like I see the ticking timer here on the job gauge, right? If this reaches here, you lose fire, right? But in this new patch, you don't lose fire. It just like, what's that ticking part?
With ley lines being a 20-second duration now, I'm thinking retrace might also have a shorter cooldown, but I don't think Yoshi
Oh, it's Xenoglossy.
P used it during the live letter, so we'll have to wait for the patch notes to confirm.
Oh, it's the polyglot thing, right? When it reaches here, it gives you a diamond.
One big change as a result of the reduced cast time of Fire 4 and Flare Star is that you no longer have
Yeah, I know what an
benefit
enochian is. I just don't know where it is on the job gauge. Like, sorry, I'm kind of like not sure about Black Mage stuff.
from instant casting these spells. Previously, with the cast time of 2.8 seconds and 3 seconds respectively, when you instant cast these spells, they went to 2.5 seconds each. So you would actually be
DPS
saving
gain,
time and
DPS
therefore
neutral.
gaining DPS. But now, since the cast is lower than the recast, you aren't gaining any more time. Instant casting these spells will simply be for movement.
I see.
Slide casting will also be a lot easier
What's up,
with the
Sky?
updated casting times, making movement even easier than before. My thought is that Square Enix thinks that the long cast times and potentially dropping Enochian were discouraging players from picking up the job, so they lowered the barrier to entry by lowering the cast times and got rid of the timer as a way to increase.
Yeah, but by doing that, you really like cuck the people that really practiced Black Mage. You know, I don't know. I kind of hate this actually that they did this. I feel like the people that dedicated so much time into it, you know, no one likes this. I'm pretty sure. Like no one would like this. I'm just seeing it from the Black Mage's perspective, and I'm just imagining like other things in general. Like let's say, okay, you guys know I play games like Tekken and Overwatch, League of Legends, all that. Like I put a lot of time in some of the characters in those games, like League of Legends especially. And I love that character. I spent years mastering, perfecting the art of this character that I play. And then it's like, oh, well, now it's much easier to play. So all the time you spent doesn't matter. Now it's like anyone can do this. And then you also see like you lose the element of what made you like it in the first place. I think that's the big part. You feel like you're not connected to the job as you used to because of the new changes. So that's how I see it. I don't know if you guys agree, but like that's my opinion on it. I think that's pretty fair.
Got rid of the timer as a way to increase popularity of the job. Personally, I like the long cast times, but let me know what you think in the comments on this. It's definitely a divisive change. If I'm being honest, I don't think the Enochian timer change is a huge deal for seasoned Black Mage players, since managing the timer was second nature for a lot of us and rarely, if ever, dropped.
Yeah.
This can actually potentially be a good change for moments where you go down for the count, like in Ultimates. Rather than transposing into Ice and having to Umbral Soul to get to max mana, if you're in the middle of a fire phase, you can just stop where you are and start the next phase with whatever mana you have left over. Another thing coming out of the Enochian timer removal is I think they're going to buff Paradox to be stronger than Fire 4. Right now, Fire 4 is 320 times 1.8 equals 576 potency in Astral Fire 3, and Paradox is 520 potency. With soft confirmation that Fire 4 is now 300 potency based on the Blizzard 4 tooltip, Fire 4 will be 520 potency in Astral Fire 3.
I see.
And it seems weird for Fire 4 and Paradox to be the same potency. So
Paradox will be buff prediction.
Paradox, so the net result will be Paradox being a gain over Fire 4. Now let's talk about Thunderhead. I like the no timer on Thunderhead, but I've also been an advocate for Thunderhead to be removed. I still think I'd prefer that they just let us cast Thunder whenever we want, and just get rid of the buff entirely. On Firestarter proc length, I honestly feel a little bit...
Oh, is that when the Thunder has a glow around the hotbar? Like you have to like use an ability first, and then it glows, and then you can use it. I think it's like that.
Indifferent about it. But there were moments if you were doing really long sequences and spending a lot of Xenos that you would lose your proc, so I guess this just helps alleviate situations like that. Now, one of the interesting changes that they did is not having Paradox give a stack of Umbral Ice. They didn't show it in the live letter, but I assume it's a similar case for giving a stack of Astral Fire as well. That is, if Paradox is used in Astral Fire 1, will it keep you in Astral Fire 1 and not take you to Astral Fire 2? This actually has implications on quite a bit of non-standard Black Mage gameplay. For example, there were lines that took advantage of Paradox in Astral Fire 1, taking you to Astral Fire 2 to use a Fire 3 proc.
Yeah, this is like super technical. I don't know much about this.
Or a Despair at an increased potency.
But I understand the
If
Enochian
Paradox
thing.
does not take you to Astral Fire 2, this reduces the value of those transpose lines considerably. Also, since you don't get a stack in Umbral Ice anymore, the non-standard line with Swiftcast Blizzard 3 is now not possible since you don't get enough mana to finish the fire phase. This also means that the recovery line where you emergency transpose into Umbral Ice 1, then use Paradox
they're gonna have to
take you
practice the
Umbral
new
Ice 2,
rotation.
then Blizzard 1 to get to Umbral Ice 3, and
It's
then
probably
using
gonna be a
Blizzard
whole new
4
rotation.
doesn't work anymore. Once we all have a chance to run through the numbers, we'll probably figure out what options there are for non-standard, or what's left of it anyways.
Do you know what's crazy? Black Mage players have 1 week to relearn their job, and then Savage comes out. They gotta learn the new way.
Finally, some additional tooltips were hovered by Yoshi
Yeah,
P.
that's you.
Xenoglossy was confirmed to have 890 potency, which is a 10 potency buff. Foul, as well, was accidentally hovered over.
Another 10 potency to Xenoglossy.
Showing that it's now 600 potency with a 25% fall off rather than a 60% fall off.
Huge buff.
Meaning it is now a 2-target gain over Xenoglossy. Fire 3 was also confirmed to be 290 potency, which is a 10 potency buff, and it stands to reason that Blizzard 3 as well is also 290 potency. Now, we definitely need to see the official numbers. For example, this build that the live letter was on could have been an old build and maybe the potencies aren't up to date.
Potentially.
Maybe there's changes to Enochian's multiplier, or the Astral Fire multiplier.
Yeah.
If not, overall this is probably going to be a pretty big buff for Black Mage, but a big shift in
Big buff, but you lose that element of what made it special, I guess.
feel and gameplay. Personally, I'm disappointed with the direction they're moving in, as I would much rather keep the old long cast turret playstyle with potency modifications. So essentially an enhanced version of 7.1 Black Mage. For example, I like the idea of ley lines being 20 seconds because it fits more with burst. They could have expanded on that and made ley lines 20 seconds but a faster haste buff. They could have added just more potency on things to keep it on par with Pictomancer. But I wasn't expecting this level of change, and I don't think a lot of people were. It's almost bordering on a rework of the core job fantasy.
Yeah, it's like a small
I'm not really
rework.
sure where they're going to take Black Mage in the future patches in Dawntrail, but in my opinion, it seems like they're on track for a full rework in patch 8.0. Let me know in the comments what you think about the changes and the future of Black Mage. Thanks for watching.
Damn, it really got changed big time, bro. Like, it's so huge that you don't have to, like, keep track of... Like, you don't have to worry about the Enochian shit anymore. That is crazy. That was, like, the big part. Wait, let me just hop on Black Mage real quick. I need to see this shit for myself. Like, how it is right now. This is current patch. Let me see this. Like, I want to see where the Enochian buff is on the job gauge, because I forgot. Genuinely, I forgot. Where is it? There. If I just cast some shit. Okay, I see it. 13 seconds. 9, 8, 15. Yeah, it's like 15 seconds. I see it. I see it now. I get it. I get it. I see now. I get it. So like they literally remove that completely. Damn, bro. Okay, I totally get why people are upset. Oh, yeah, what's up, Arrogant? We just watched the live letter. We watched the whole thing. Yeah, man. I don't know. This seems like it's just a really bad change. Like we were saying earlier, like they've been going on this trend of like making jobs easier, and like it's evident, right? They keep doing that, but like when you make jobs easier, you kind of alienate the people that grinded and like learned how to master it, you know? What made it so special. And part of Black Mage, what made it special is keeping, like, not dropping enochian, not dropping your buffs, and like it really kept you active, you know? It's massive. Like, this is a massive change. Yeah. Like we were also talking about the mantras earlier. Yeah, like, and here's the scary thing is we don't know the patch notes yet, so we don't know if Ninja's even gonna get any changes, but I'm gonna guess not though. I'm gonna predict that Ninja is not gonna have its shit tweaked, because I think like this patch they were focusing so much on casters, and they probably invested mostly all their resources on casters because they realized how strong Picto is. And they're like, okay, if Picto's this strong, we'll nerf this, we'll tweak this, we'll make this easier, we'll make Summoner, you know, maybe easier. Not easier, maybe we'll make it do more damage. Maybe we'll mess around with RDM. So they're probably investing more in the casters. I feel like Melees are in a really good spot right now. I mean, yeah, there's Viper, that's the new job they introduced, but I don't see how they would mess with Ninja because of Viper's existence or something. I don't know. I mean, only thing I want to see with Ninja really is more interaction with Kazimatoi Gauge. That's it. Everything else, please don't touch it. It's literally perfect. Everything else is fine. Mudras are great. Gameplay feels great. Viminal earlier said, what if they add an auto Mudra? And then, yeah, just press the button and it just does it for you. Never have the option of bunny, ever. You never have to... Dude, oh my god, the worst thing they could do is make it so that when you do your Suton, they remove Shadow Walker, and now it's like, oh, Shadow Walker no longer exists, and you basically have Shadow Walker for the rest of the fight. I mean, if we're gonna go off the fact that they did that with Enochian, where it doesn't have a timer anymore. See, like, this would ruin Ninja's identity if they removed Shadow Walker and just made it, like, infinite. Like, you only have to Suton one time, and then like, you're good. You don't have to think about, like, oh, I need to use Suton when Trick Attack is below 20 seconds. You know, you don't have to think about that. It would actually ruin some stuff with Ninja. Like, a lot of the timing with Ninja was like that. Knowing when to use the Suton perfectly and like timing it so that you can get the full burst and then you get 2 Raytons inside burst. Like, that's what made it really awesome. Ninja's fun, man. We're so lucky. We're blessed, man. That Ninja's in the state that it's in right now. It's really fucking good. And they made us move inside Tenchi Jin. On top of that. Which is even fucking better. Like, we're in a really good spot with Ninja. Okay? Like, super good spot. So, let's hope they don't fuck it. Like, they did. Dude, they did Black Mage dirty as fuck with those changes. Ninjutsu's on hot bars. Ninja, yeah, that'd be so bad. Dude, imagine, like, they just removed Tenchi Jin completely. And then you just have Rayton, your Suton, and your Katon. And they were like, oh, let's just remove Doton. We don't need Doton. Let's move Hyoton. No one ever used it. Oh, and, oh, Hyosho. I guess Hyosho will just replace Kasatsu. So you don't need to Kasatsu, and, like, Kasatsu lasts 15 seconds. So there was, like, you had to, like, time when to use the Hyosho eventually, like making sure your Kasatsu doesn't run out so you get the Hyosho. Ninja is definitely one of those jobs where it's extremely punishing if your shit runs out, right? If your shit runs out, you lose so much damage. You lose so much damage. Kasatsu drops, damn, you just lost a shit ton of damage. You don't use the Rayton in time where the boss phases out before you could Rayton, well, the Rayton's gone now. It's gone. This Mudra lasts 6 seconds. You have to use it within those 6 seconds. And then use it. Yeah. That would ruin Ninja if they just make everything like... not have time.